Hi, I'm Patrick. This is Steven, Eric, and Brian Fiore. Brian's back, everybody. It's nice to have Brian back. And with his clothes on and out of jail, which is really promising. We just got done playing Reavers of Midgard by our very, very good friends at...
Great Fox Games.
Oh, yeah, those guys at Great Fox Games. Join us for the review of Reavers of Midgard by Great Fox. So I'm going to give, if the rest of you don't mind, I'm going to give a very, very short description of how to play Reavers of Midgard right here.
So Reavers of Midgard is a 2 to 4 player game that lasts between 75 and about 120 minutes, depending on how fast you play and how many players are playing. And at its core, it is an action selection game. You take your little meeple, your Viking ship meeple, and you place it down on one of the actions. Actions like trade with villages, recruit Reavers, battle at sea, subdue territories, raid keeps, and raid villages. In the beginning of the game, you'll draw 2 Reavers, and you'll get to place those on your player board. You can either promote them to the leader position, and that'll give you certain benefits. You can specialize them, and when you specialize them, that sticks them under certain slots. You'll notice that the slots on your board also match the type of actions that are in play, and there'll be bonus actions. So if I tuck a guy in there and make him a specialist, or tuck a unit in there and make it a specialist, I'll get that bonus every time I take that particular action. On my turn, I place my meeple onto the action that I want. Then I have to pay the resources that are involved. For example, under raid villages, I paid 1 food and then 2 treasure chest die faces. That'll give me a reward of 2 of these raid villages cards. Now there's a pool of them, and you can also draw from the deck if you don't like anything that you see in the pool there. Now, I am blocking anybody else from doing that during that particular round by putting my token on that board. But as soon as I do place it on that board, every player gets an opportunity to take that action if they want. For example, the player in the second player slot can do that same action with the same resource cost, but they'll only draw 1 card. And there are other places on the board where you'll completely block someone out, where nobody else can take that choice. Or they're even more diminished. It's not even just half, but even less than that. So during the course of the game, you're going to do these actions on the board, and they're going to provide you with more resources to be able to do more of those actions. They're also going to provide you with these glory points that you'll move up and down the track. And at the very end of the game, there's also set collection. So as you're collecting these Reavers and you discard some of the Reavers and you'll get other cards, you can bolster your ship or you can add weapons. As you do that, sometimes you'll be discarding that, and that'll go to the discard pile, and you'll score off the discard pile. You also score off artifacts and those kind of things at the end of the game. So there's some set collecting aspect to it as well. So as a very, very brief overview, that is Reavers of Midgard. Back to the review.
Wow. All right. So if I may start with Mr. Steven Eckman, the only one actually wearing a Just Got Played shirt. If you would be so kind as to tell us your favorite thing about Reavers of Midgard.
Well, appropriately enough, my favorite thing about the game are the Reaver cards. So the Reaver cards, they're multi-use cards, right? So you can decide to promote your Reaver to be a leader. You could discard the Reaver to get extra resources above what they give you just for getting them in the first place. Or you can add them to kind of this engine building mechanism where you kind of stick them to your player mat to one of the actions. And, I'm always a sucker for engine builders as well. So, but I like that decision. Like, what am I going to do with these Reaver cards? And it made sense. Reavers of Midgard.
And if you don't mind me saying next, I love the amount of options that you have, and those Reavers add to that. There are so many options you have during every single turn. So much stuff and so much beautiful art. There's so much great iconography. There's so much actual beautiful art in the game. That would be my favorite thing, is the not only just how well the art is done in this game, but how well it ties to the theme and literally how much of it there is. Those are the two things that we like. Eric, could you give us one thing you like the least?
Okay. I will actually kind of spin off of your, the way you introduced your like.
I love it when you spin off on it.
And then saying that that there's a lot of things to do, and it felt like on everybody's turn, the game felt like it was going to be simple, and that you had these specific kind of worker placement action spaces where you would put your token down and go, I'm doing this action. But a lot of times that action turned into, well, then I draw one of these cards, and now I have to make a decision. That turns into this, and then I draw these tokens, and then I draw another card, and I do that. And then not the least of which everybody else is doing everything. And I felt like a really overly complicated Champions of Midgard. And like the reason that game was successful was because it was accessible and it was simple and the things were interesting. And it just felt really overcomplicated.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think this was even like a next step from Champions of Midgard either, right? This might be 2 steps down the line.
Oh, for sure.
oh yeah, this is a gamer's game for sure. And again, that ties into constantly having so many options during the course of the game. And certainly for a first-time player, I could see where you're saying there are a lot, maybe too much to choose from. And you never really 100% know for sure what's going to be the best move for you. Brian, if you had to pick something you like the least, Brian Fiore, the Beast.
For me, I would have to say that the interactivity of the game, I mean, it was it's a Viking themed game. So I was expecting to be able to, hitting people with an axe or doing something, some combat or something. But there's a lot of choices to make. But I felt like there wasn't a whole lot of interactivity. I was just kind of focused on my own ship and what I was doing and never could really focus on, whatever someone else was doing at the time. So I didn't get to crush any skulls or anything like that.
You are constantly focusing on your ship.
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
The ship and the seamen as well. So.
You went a bit overboard focusing on your ship.
Yeah. I did like the fact, or maybe I didn't like the fact that it was, there was a title in there or a term in there, the glory pile. I thought that could have been expanded.
Sure. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Brian. So this was Reavers of Midgard by Gray Fox Game. It is in the same universe as we just mentioned as Champions of Midgard. And if you are I think, and please everyone resound off of this, I think that if you are a gamer, this is a game for you. If you like to really methodically think about your choices, this is a game for you. But it's a deep delve for a new guy.
Yeah,
Right?
this is definitely the kind of game where the first time you play it, you're probably going to be crushed by somebody who's played it before. It's the game where you really are only going to understand the game if you've played it before, and you're going to want to play it some more to unlock those intricacies. So if you like that kind of game, this is what you're looking for.
Oh yeah, and your first playthrough is going to take you a while too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be one of those games that's going to take everybody a while, regardless of the number of times that you played it. But that first playthrough is going to be a slog.
It's that part where I make a move and then everyone gets to make a move off of that move that requires quite a bit of thinking and requires quite a bit of time. Well, I'm Patrick. That's Steven. That's Eric. That's Brian Fiore. Together we're Just Got Played. Thank you very, very much for watching. And I hope you stay tuned for... And if you'd like to play more games, come on over to Brian's laundry room. We're gonna pile in there after the COVID-19's over, and we're gonna play more Champions of Reavers of Midgard.
I'll play Champions too. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, whatever it takes.
I mean, when we're done here, I'm going to go pillaging. I'm going to go pillage some meat out of my fridge.
Is that cat food on Brian's fridge? I think.
It's dog food, actually.
Is it?
He's hoarding Campbell's soup.
He knows something we don't. He is the Reaver.
All of these boxes behind me are actually just full of toilet paper.
Oh my goodness! After eating Brian's dog food, that's where I'm headed.